Hi everyone, Pyramid Intel. So, I hope you survived the Lionsgate portal, and hopefully you got something interesting out of it. It is the energy of unconditional love, also known as a Christ consciousness, and I think of it as the truth frequency. To me, the highest frequency is not just unconditional love, but truth. It's the same thing to me. I believe that to move into a higher frequency band and manifest in a higher ascension process, that's something that we all need to identify and master, is where we have gone wrong with creating this world of illusions and lies, and how we can fix it. I did an entire series last year called the Truth Series, which I'm going to put a link below this video if anyone is interested. And I think it may explain a lot about everything that I just mentioned. Okay, so on that note, coming out of this now, I've definitely moved into a different place. It's affected me. It's opened up something in that I feel more open and honest and truthful, and I feel the need to share more. So that's what I'm going to do. This is going to be a little bit different from my other Pyramid Intels. This is going to be the background, the history of Pyramid Intel. How did it all come to pass? Because I'm honored that anyone would show up here and listen to my strange information without me offering anything about who I am or why I'm doing it. So that's what I'm going to tell you now. So I channel information, and the Pyramid Intel information is specifically channeled information to help with the ascension process. And this sort of happened spontaneously over the last couple of years. And even then I wasn't sharing it with the public. But one day I was sitting in my meditation pyramid, and something told me to turn the camera on, so I did. And it was a really brief message, but I was seeing code running, kind of like in the Matrix, but not zeros and ones. That's a whole other thing. And I said something like, there's no such thing as luck, it's all math. And it was a strange message, but I put it out anyway, and people responded to it, so I continued on, and here I am today. So there are a lot of people that have this kind of ability, a lot more than you would think. They just aren't saying anything because it's not really accepted. And I'm not sure why it's such a big deal, because it is so common, but because it's not accepted, people don't say anything. This is why we don't go anywhere. We're living in this totally repressed society where everyone goes along with what is considered to be the norm instead of just being themselves and speaking the truth. And that's why hundreds, thousands of years we're completely stagnant and we don't move forward in any way. And I am not going to accept that. Okay? I'm just not, and I'm going to do my part to be forthright and honest about everything that's going on, hoping that it will inspire others to do the same, to speak their truth, whatever that is. I think we'd all be better off. So I was born just different, and knowing that I had an awareness of things. It's called claircognizance, just knowing things that I couldn't possibly have known. And I would say I believe these things to be true when they're things not only should I never have considered at such a young age, but certainly not have a strong opinion on it and know that I'm right, or feel confidently that I was correct. But that's how I was. And specifically about pyramids, which is why this is relevant. Now, this kind of activity that I was having, because it's not just claircognizance, I have also clairaudience and some other things. I have a little bit of everything, but this particular story, this is how it went down. when I was in the 4th grade, 10 years old, there was this exact moment in time that I will never forget. It transformed my life. And 4th grade, 10 years old, I'm in school, and we are studying, open up the book, and we're talking about the Great Pyramids in Egypt. Now, I had already discussed the Pyramids of Egypt. I was familiar with it because it was either on television or on National Geographic, and I had discussed it with my father. And it was like I had these very strong ideas about exactly what it was, where they came from, how they were built. And my father was always indulgent. He didn't say much. He didn't tell me I was right or wrong or really voice an opinion. He liked to listen, and he would laugh, and it was fun. And I assumed that he understood and that I was correct, and he was on the same page. You know, it was kind of like that. So as we were in school and I'm reading this, I'm looking at it, and they're saying, you know, slave labor and ropes and pulleys and everything, and I'm like looking at it like, and I'm thinking that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the physics doesn't even work. Now, I didn't think the word physics, I didn't even know the word physics, but you know, it didn't compute. It didn't seem as if it would be possible. So, and I knew that it wasn't for burying people either. It was not a burial tomb. Now mind you, I'm 10, so be gentle as I tell the story. Don't judge. I thought that perhaps the teacher like really didn't know, because you know the book was saying something that wasn't true. So I was going to help her out by informing her about what the truth actually was, which I proceeded to do. And adamantly. I have a strong personality. When I believe something, I'm kind of in your face about it, but I meant well, and that it did not go well, as you can imagine. So next thing you know, I'm at a teacher-parent conference with my parents, both of them, and the teacher is explaining to my dad what happened, and my father took her side, and I was appalled because I was just speaking my truth, and he already knew and sort of acknowledged this to be my truth, and I thought it was his as well, and he just shut me down. And I was like, "But Dad," and he's like, just stop it. And I'm like, "But Dad," and he's like, "Just stop it," you know? My father was the person who really wanted peace more than anything in the world. He worked really hard during the week, and he came home, and he just wanted peace. And apparently, peace was more important than truth to him, you know, and he was willing to sacrifice me and my truth for peace, you know. So that was an eye-opener. Now, at the same time, my sister was joining the church. You know, she was 13, and at that age in our church, you could choose to go through the process of evaluation and being baptized and everything. So I was closely watching this. And I'd always assumed that the things that adults are telling you are the truth, because why wouldn't they be? And especially something as important and all-consuming and foundational as God and creation and the commandments. So as I'm watching my sister go through this, I started closely observing everything that was going on at my church. And what I was seeing was that these people were complete hypocrites. They were breaking commandments all willy-nilly left and right. You know, this parent was an alcoholic. This parent was having sex with the Sunday school teacher, but they're both married, and on and on and on, etc. You get the picture. And it was, you know, several different circumstances, and they were all like not just petty things, they were large things. And I realized these adults, they do not really believe this. This is such a big deal. They made it out to be such a big deal, Baptist church, okay, that it had to be the absolute truth, you know, and yet there they were just flinging themselves throughout the world, doing whatever they wanted to do. And clearly, if they thought they were going to burn in hell for all eternity, they wouldn't be doing those things. So the conclusion that I came to is that they don't believe it at all, and that it's likely just a control mechanism to keep the kids in line, kind of like Santa Claus. So as I had that epiphany about religion, then at the same time, I had the one at school where the teacher was providing information as fact when clearly it was not a fact, and she had no interest in learning what the truth was. And my parents had no interest in learning what the truth was, or even if they knew it, they were not going to be supportive. They were going to support the lie to keep the peace. And that's how, at the age of 10, I had an existential crisis. So that's the background on Pyramid INTELL. I've always been fascinated with pyramids, and it seemed very relevant, and it has carried through into present time. And I will continue the story if you're interested in the next Pyramid INTELL. Thanks for listening. Bye.